Alright, so last time we looked at it was a very small, tidy data set for main accounting firms. This time, I want to do something a little crazy. Let's go out and get some messy data. So I'm going to go out onto the web and grab some data from a website that looks like it's from 1998. So let's see if we can do that. So here I have beer calories and alcohol content. It's beer100.com. And it brings up, again, this website that looks like it was done back in 1998. Maybe you were alive then, maybe not. And what I'm looking into is beer calorie and alcohol content. So have you ever wondered how much alcohol or how many calories your favorite beer contains? Well, just turn the beer around and you can see it. Now, they've put together this thing. I have no idea how updated it is or outdated it is. So here they break it down into calories in beer imported versus calories in beer and domestic. So let's do domestic. And so we see down here they put a nice table, an HTML table, the beer, the brewery, the alcohol by volume content, the calories in a 12-ounce beer, and the carbohydrates in grams. And it looks like they're listing it alphabetically. All right. So here's natural ice, Anheuser-Busch, 5.9%, 156 calories, 8.9 grams. The star here, somewhere, I think they say what the stars mean. I think it means that they tried to get information from the brewery, but they couldn't. Right? It's probably up here. Numbers listed derived from calculations, etc. So I would like to get this data and put it in Excel and manipulate it. So how do we do that? Well, I could call the guy up and say, hey, can you send me blah, 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 blah? And they'll be like, are you crazy? Why would I do that? So instead, I'm going to try something really crazy. I'm going to select everything in Excel. So all I'm doing is holding down my left mouse button and dragging the mouse down until the end. I'm going to then go hit Control C. Again, I'm on a Windows machine. And then I'm going to go to a blank Excel workbook, click in cell A1 and hit Control V and see if it does anything that is pretty. Woohoo! It actually looks like it came over into the spreadsheet halfway decent. All right? I'm going to have to clean some of this up. But again, this is messy data. And if you click the links, it takes you to the brewery's webpage. So let's go back to the Excel. Now there were some ads down in there you may have noticed. So like row 33, I can delete that. It was probably an ad. So there'll be some row 85. I'm deleting that. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you. So when we get messy data, we have to kind of go through it and see if there's stuff that we want to get rid of or stuff that we need to manipulate, things like that. So if we do all this, all right, not too bad. This, I'm going to delete row 2. So now I have a header row, which is beer. The brewery, the alcohol, maybe since I got rid of that, I'll change that to ABV, alcohol by volume. That's one of the common ways of, and that's calories in 12 ounces of beer. And then carbohydrates in grams. So I'll put a G in parentheses there, even though the G is there. And then try to make it prettier by kind of auto sizing this stuff. Alright, so how many beers do we have? Let's see, let's go to the bottom. 137 beers. Looks like, because the first row is a header. Alright. How am I getting to the top and bottom? That's Excel that you should be able to do. On a Windows, Control, the down arrow key to get to the bottom, Control, up arrow key to get to the top row. So, first thing is we have each row as a beer. and then so this would be name, all right, name of the beer. Brewery is a qualitative variable. Alcohol by volume, right, 4.1%. I hope that that's a number, right? But it says it's percentage right here up at the top. So hopefully I can actually manipulate that. I can test that. I can do something crazy like just divide it by 2. Yes, so that is a quantitative variable as we were hoping. Calories in beer, so again, that should be, it says general, but it should be a number. So if I divide that by 2, yes, it's a number. I can do that. Carbohydrates, on the other hand, should be a number, should be a quantitative variable. But notice how on the header on the website, which, you know, again, looks really old, they have grams in parentheses, but then they put a G at the bottom, or in each individual record. Well, why do I need that if you told me it was grams, right? So if I try to divide this one by 2, I'm assuming it's going to say, not a value. What does that mean? All right, error in value. All right. That's because this is not a number because of that letter G. So we're going to have to, if we want to do anything with carbohydrates, have to figure out a way to manipulate that data. All right. So what we could do is look at some special functions in Excel to do that. So in essence, what I want to do is I want to strip the G off of the right-hand side of that. There's probably 18 different ways to do this. The one I'm thinking of off the top of my head right now involves 2 different functions within it that are built into Excel. The right, like your right hand, function, as well as the length function, which is len. So let me type in what I think would be a good thing to do. So I type in right. If I want to see what this thing does, you can hit the insert function button. Right, returns the specified number of characters from the end of a string. Okay, so if I click help on this function, let's make sure we're doing it right. Haha, funny. Right returns the last characters in a text string based on the number of characters you specify. Right B returns the characters. Right always counts each character, whether single byte or double byte. Doesn't matter for us. And then let's see an example. So, okay, last character. Yeah, all right. So we could even do, this will work. So I'll go ahead and do that. And click cancel and type again. Right, I want this string and the number of characters. Here's where I get a little bit fancy. I'm going to use the length function, which is len, and it takes in the text. All right, so it tells me how long the string is. So 10.5 G, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll be 5 characters for that one. And I only want the 4 characters, so I subtract 1. And oh, went the wrong way. So I don't want right, because it went the wrong way. So I want left. There we go. So what left does is it starts at the left hand side and goes over the number of characters that you want. So let's do this in steps then. Length of this is 5 characters. So left, I want, let's say, just 1 character. What will that be? Well, it better be the first character, the 1. It is. So now if I do left, same string, but do 2 characters, I get the 10, right? So I want the first 4 characters. Well, what I can do then is I can combine all those to say that I take starting from the left on the string that's in E2, which is 10.5 G, I'm going to take the length of that string minus the last one. So everything but the last one, right? In this case, it will be 4. And I get 10.5. Then the question becomes, is that numeric? Because that's what I want to really want to end up with. Woohoo! It is. So now, in theory, I ought to be able to autofill this down. Now notice that with the star, right, it came back with a 0 and then kept it as a blank for some reason, right? So it can't it's because there are stars in here instead of something else. I have some blank cells or some empty cells now, which is going to cause us other headaches later on down the road. All right, and then notice here that I got not a value because this was blank. So maybe what I should be doing is checking to see if there are blanks. Oh, here's another one that I didn't get rid of. Delete that. That was an add. So we really have, before I said 137, apparently I didn't get all the way to the bottom. 176 beers, domestic beers. And because there was a blank there, I just didn't fill in all the way. So now it does. But again, we still have quite a bit of messy data. We got some not values. We got some stuff that's empty. All right. But we got some data off of a website into a spreadsheet and started to manipulate it somewhat. So that's kind of fun. So we'll come back to this data file in a little bit and maybe try to do something else with it.